Thank you for joining this presentation on exit counseling presented by the Office of Financial Planning. Congratulations! We are so very proud of your accomplishments at Mercer University. Let's talk student loan repayment options and what you need to know. I will want to make sure you are equipped with enough information to make informed decisions concerning your repayment options. Here are the topics that we will cover during this presentation. What happens to your loans once you graduate? What is the grace period? What are the types of repayment plans? What is public service loan forgiveness, or PSLF, and other options and next steps? When you graduate, you have a 6-month window before repayment begins, called a grace period. Mercer will notify your loan servicers of your graduation date, and all loans secured at Mercer University will be placed in a 6-month grace period. If you took a gap year or a gap semester, this will impact your repayment timeline, and repayment begins 30 to 45 days after graduation. Please contact your loan servicer for further information. Getting to know your loans and your lenders. Let's begin with identifying your lender. Here is a list of federal student loan servicers that have provided loans for Mercer students. Whether it's Navient, Nelnet, Mohila, Great Lakes, their information can be obtained here. But at this point, you should have received some form of communication from your lender. Most of you know that you can also find that information on studentaid.gov. And you can also find your lender by setting up an account with NSLDS, which is the National Student Loan Data Servicer. You will need to create a username and password to access this information. Once you have accessed this site, you will be able to see the extent of your student loan history, including each time you acquired a new student loan, the disbursement amount and date, and the interest that has accrued. Visit studentaid.gov. Things that you will want to pay attention to when you're on the site are: what are the types of loans you have? What is the interest rate for each loan? And when the anticipated start date for repayment begins. All information relative to repayment should be done directly to your lender, not to Mercer University, unless you secured a loan through Mercer, such as the Health Profession Student Loan or the Loan for Disadvantaged Students. If this is the case, the Student Loan Office will contact you about repayment. If you secured a private loan and have forgotten who your servicer is, you can pull your credit report to identify them by going to annualcreditreport.com. You will get to see how many loans you have in all, what types of loans, and the cumulative amount owed in loan debt. Once you have identified your lender, you can set up a username and password on their site. You will also be able to make payments directly to your lender. Once you click on the tab, it will direct you to more specific information: loan amounts, when you secure those loans, the interest rates, and more. As much as possible, make payments as the interest on loans capitalize annually. This chart shows a breakdown of unsubsidized loans secured over 4 years, and the interest that accrues or didn't because of COVID, which happened on March 20th through May 2022. In essence, your student loans over a 4-year period only earned $6,506 in interest. If the interest rates had not been frozen, it would have been $20,793 in interest. Students saved $14,287. Thank you, COVID. Repayment plans and options. It is important to understand how loans and compounding interest can cost you over time, but if you pay strategically, you could save yourself time and money. Manage your debt. Don't let your debt manage you. Remember that the longer you take to pay off any loan, the more you will pay out of pocket in the end. Here are some traditional repayment plans. The standard plan is a 10-year plan, and based on a loan balance of almost $70,000, your monthly payment amount is around $725 for the next 10 years. If you decide you want something a little more agreeable to the wallet, you could opt for an extended payment plan, which is 25 years, and pay about $415 a month for the next 25 years. The graduated plan is a 10-year plan as well that starts with a lower payment and then increases over time. You will want to make sure that you can accommodate the changes over time with salary growth. There are also payment plans that are designed based on your income, hence income-driven repayment plans. Primarily, there are 4 types: the income contingent payment plan, which is 20% of your discretionary income, income-based repayment plan, which is 15% of that discretionary income, pay as you earn, and revised pay as you earn, which is 10% of your discretionary income. These plans usually work hand in hand with the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and primarily they can carry for at least 20 to 25 years as a timeline. This chart reflects the 2020 Poverty Guideline. This information is used to determine your discretionary income if you're participating in an income-driven repayment plan, which is mandatory if you are planning to participate in public service loan forgiveness. Discretionary income is determined by your adjusted gross income minus 150% of the poverty guideline, and also is based on your family size. Here is an example of the formula and how that information is used to determine your monthly payment amount. This is an example and should allow you to do the math. This is a breakdown of the difference between the pay and the repay plans. What is most important to know is that the repay plan is for students who have defaulted or struggled to pay on their student loans, and they have entered a repayment plan. This is the plan that would automatically be used, repay. What is also important to mention is that the pay program is 20 years of taxable forgiveness, whereas the repay is 25 years, which means you'd be in a plan longer. The pay program also includes your spouse's information only if you filed a joint tax return, whereas repay would automatically include your spouse's income. Using the loan simulator allows you to plug in your loan information and gain an idea of what that payment would be depending on the repayment plan enrollment. This simulator can be found on studentaid.gov. You will have multiple scenarios that you can choose from, employed or unemployed. Find the scenario that you most identify with. Some of you have already signed contracts for employment or know that you will receive an offer upon graduation. You can use that information in the loan simulator. You can have the information synthesized based on Mercer University's loan calculations, but we recommend that you enter it manually based on your aid summary sheet. When you are done entering your loans, click Continue and indicate if you are interested in public service loan forgiveness. The simulator will ask what your primary goal is in repaying your loans. Remember to use current information to make a decision, like your salary amount, or the amount budgeted for repayment that is comfortable with your standard of living. If you are someone who wants to be aggressive and repay your loans as soon as possible, you can enter that scenario as well. On the results page, you'll see your estimated total to be paid monthly and the number of years it will take to pay off the loan. Again, this is a simulation, and the data can be modified to meet your needs. Select a plan that will meet your current situation best. You can always update and change your repayment plan. Here are some strategies to minimize costs. 1. Repay your debt as fast as possible. This decreases the amount of interest you pay overall. 2. Most loan servicers offer a 25% reduction in interest if you select automatic withdrawal to make your payments. 3. Organize your loans from highest interest rates to lowest. You should tackle the ones with a higher interest rate. 4. Make extra payments if you're able to, or if not, add a little bit more onto each payment. You'd be amazed how far that can take you and how that reduces your overall loan debt. If you've ever paid for a vehicle or paid a credit card, you know that making a little bit extra on your monthly payment reduces your overall debt. If you need to postpone your payments, you can elect to apply for deferment or forbearance. Deferment means that there is no interest accruing, whereas forbearance will accrue interest. Thinking of consolidating your loans? Please take a moment to review this chart to make sure you understand the pros and cons of federal consolidation compared to private loan consolidation. If you elect to consolidate your loans with a private lender, you will no longer be eligible for public service loan forgiveness, and you lose the benefits that carry with federal loans, such as loan forgiveness if you become totally or partially disabled, or if you happen to pass away. Those loans would then pass to your family. Consolidating all your federal loans could mean a loss of some previously gained benefits or a reapplication for those benefits. Also, consolidating your loans means that your repayment period is pushed up 30 to 45 days after consolidation. So for those of you who are thinking about using the 6-month grace period, plan to have that adjusted if you consolidate your loans right upon graduation. Forbearance, deferment, and public service loan forgiveness. If you're considering any of these options, please contact your lender directly. As previously mentioned, deferment means that your loans are not accruing interest while they are on hold. Forbearance means that your loans continue to accrue interest. Loan discharge and loan forgiveness should also be followed up with your lender for clarification. Loans will only be discharged if you attended a university and that school closed before your degree was secured. studentaid.gov has a wealth of information and can answer most of your questions. Here is a list of qualifications for public service loan forgiveness. Be aware that not all 501c3s are eligible for public service loan forgiveness. Here are just a few organizations that participate in PSLF. Make sure you confirm with your employer the requirements to participate. Other things to consider. Organize your loans so that you tackle the ones with the higher interest rates first. Handle loans without a grace period if you're able to. If you're not planning to participate in public service loan forgiveness, you don't have to wait. Consider paying some accrued interest before capitalization. If you choose to consolidate, you can begin the application process shortly after graduation, but remember that your repayment begins 30 to 45 days later. If you're planning to participate in public service loan forgiveness, complete an employment certification form once you are employed, and you will need to participate in an income-driven repayment plan as well. Complete and submit repayment plan applications to your loan servicer 90 days before your grace period expires, or an IDRP, which is an income-driven repayment plan, and 30 days for traditional plans. Don't forget that you must recertify annually if you're participating with an income-driven repayment plan. Lastly, if you're planning to continue your education, your loan should move to an in-school deferment shortly after you begin your new program. Your student loans are a serious obligation, and there are consequences for failure to pay or honoring that debt. Delinquency and default carry heavy penalties. Your payments are reported to the credit bureau and can negatively impact your credit. If you default on your loans, the entire balance becomes due immediately. Additional charges and fees will apply. Your pay could also be garnished and your Social Security benefits withheld, and you could be called to court. If you are experiencing difficulty making payments, please contact your lender. You have rights and responsibilities as well. If you choose, you can pay off your loan early without penalty. You can also choose to change your repayment plan, request deferment or forbearance, request a shorter payment schedule. Make sure you contact your lender to update your address, phone number, or email. Don't forget to complete exit counseling, online exit counseling, and review your promissory note. Lastly, please complete online exit counseling. This is part of the process. If you would like to receive a list of your student loan history, it can be provided to you by the Financial Aid Office. You will also receive an acknowledgement form indicating that you attended the session. Thank you for your time, and I'm also very happy and proud of your success. Congratulations, Mercer Bears.